Hello guys, Colin here, and the eagle-eyed amongst you may have noticed that I've swapped my amps around here because I really want to talk to you about this little beast today. This is the Marshall MG series Microstack. And this beautiful piece of kit was my first ever amplifier. I bought it brand new back in 2006, I think it was, for £200, and that was 4 times what I'd paid for my first ever guitar. It's designed to make the dream of owning a real Marshall stack a reality for people where that's just outside of the realms of possibility usually. It's compact, neat, smart looking, and it really is just a Marshall stack in a miniature form. Now don't let the phrase of practice amplifier put you off. This is not a bad amplifier by any means, and I hope to prove that to you by the end of this video. Now this Microstack features a 15 watt solid state head and 2 1x10 cabinets, the straight one at the bottom and then the angled one on top, just like a real Marshall stack. The head itself features 2 channels, clean and overdrive, with a shared 3-band EQ and a spring reverb. Now that's an analog spring reverb, but there's genuinely a big spring inside that head. It's a really cool sounding reverb. In addition, it has an emulated line out, so you can take the amp head to a recording desk if you so wish. That socket also pairs up as a CD or MP3 player input, so you can jam along to tracks. And right beside it, there is an emulated headphone out for silent practice. Now the last switch on here is an FDD switch, which stands for frequency dependent damping. That is Marshall's attempt to get the solid state head to sound a bit more like a valve amp. So it's trying to do a bit more valve response from this small solid state head. Now whether that's going to get you close to a full valve Marshall is very debatable, but one thing I can say for the FDD switch is I don't know why there's an option to switch it off. It's a fantastic tone shaping circuit. Now Marshall have updated this amplifier several times since I bought it back in 2006, so there's been some revisions and new versions, but I'm just looking at this one particularly on its own, and I think it's an incredible amplifier to have. So it looks fantastic, but let's hear how it sounds. I'm going to do some sound samples with this ash-bodied fossil build, and I'm going to go straight into the Marshall, nothing else in between. I want you to hear this as it's intended to be played. Now let's start with the clean channel. It's very clear and crisp, not got the warmth that you'll expect from a valve amplifier, but it does a really good job. And with the reverb dialed in quite high, you get some very nice sounds. Now one thing I found this amp doesn't cope particularly well with is low gain crunch sounds. I think you really do need a valve amp breaking up to get that crunch overdrive sound. But I have found ways to get around about this. If you set the gain reasonably high, like to a lead sort of tone, and then go on to single coil pickups and roll back your volume control a bit, you get some incredible crunchy tones that are quite genuine sounding. Listen to this. And then where this amplifier really does shine is in the Marshall lead tones. The high gain lead tones are exceptional, so you've got some really good heavy metal hard rock tones and fantastic for solos as well. Now let's have a look at what that FDD switch is actually doing. I'm going to play some licks with the switch on, then I'll switch it off and play the same licks again so you can hear the difference it makes. Mostly there's a level difference and it turns out quite flat. There's a much flatter experience with the switch off, but I'll let your ears be the judge. Now I'll often plug into this amplifier first if I'm just noodling around and doing some practice, or if I'm setting up guitars after I've been repairing or modifying or building them, I'll plug into this first, just because it's nice and easy, sounds good, and I don't need to wait for any valves to warm up. Now I, like many people, obviously prefer the sound of a valve amplifier, and I will use my valve amplifier extensively for these videos and for recording and for live use. But certainly here at home, there is absolutely nothing wrong with this beautiful amplifier. It sounds incredible for what it is. No other 15 watt solid state amplifier that I've heard sounds quite near this one. So I am very, very happy that I spent a good bit of money on this at the time. So what I'm trying to say here is please don't shoot down practice amplifiers until you've tried them. This is an incredible thing. I'm quite sure there are some other good practice amplifiers out there. Solid state, practice, low wattage doesn't mean bad. It really doesn't. So please take some time to experiment about with little practice amplifiers and obviously get yourself a nice tour rig if you're doing that sort of thing. But you could do far worse than the Marshall MG Microstack. Now that's all I've got to say on this amplifier for this now. Please remember to click my subscribe button so you can see all the content I'm bringing out. Also leave a comment, and I'm available on all the social media so you can get the links in the description box. That's all for now, guys. See you later. Keep it loud.